the confidence isn't built by beauty, and you will be surprised by the amount of incredible pretty girls and boys that I know all these years of working as a model that can look at themselves at the mirror peacefully. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for all the support in my last video. That was the first one in English that I made, and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to manage this bilingual thing in my channel. But I want to say to the old ones, don't worry, I'll keep on speaking on Spanish in this channel, but I wanted to make this one also in English because this can work as a second part of the last one that was makeup tutorial as a model, things that I learned about makeup, but today are things that I learned about life maybe, and I want to talk about confidence, things that people assume about models that aren't really true. I think that some models suffer a lot because modeling is the only thing that they have in life, and it's something so unstable, and I wouldn't recommend to be the only thing that you have. And I also think that this belief of the models being boring people that have nothing to say, it's because of this, because of the ones that are only models. Maybe it's not just a belief, it's something that you get told easily being a model, and obviously it's not the case for the 100% of the models, but there's a lot of boring people in fashion because of all the big egos and this thing of focusing on beauty. I can't really say it's fake because me being a model since 2019, 2018, I don't really have a lot of friends that are models too, because it's pretty hard to find people, but I think this happens in a lot of professions. It's not only models, of course. There's boring people everywhere, and also frustrated people, because if you put everything that you want and all your goals and all the important things just in one specific thing, you'll easily get frustrated. And in modeling this is hard because it's always changing and you're not working the same every month, every week. You can spend months without any work, and that's the reality of the fashion world that people don't really talk about because they don't wanna seem like a failure, you know. They want to keep that glamorous look of the fashion. You know how people think that models see themselves as superiors, love themselves, are self-obsessed in a good way, and they are self-obsessed most of the times, but it's not because of self-love, because if you really love yourself, you will nourish yourself in every way, not just focusing in the way you look, because this has a lot of cons in your life. First of all, we know we are always changing. You are not going to look the same for the rest of your life. You're going to age, and I'm not saying that aging isn't beautiful. It's pretty, but there's going to be changes in your body. And we know how the beauty standards are, and if you want to work, you have to keep yourself inside that parameters. Loving yourself is not just paying attention to your looks. I don't really like this term of loving yourself because I think it's so weird the way a lot of people see it. It has more to do with self-respect and treating yourself like a human being, being your own son. When you grow up, I always say this in my podcast that's in Spanish, when you grow up, you don't have your parents anymore to push you to do good for you, if you have that privilege. But let's say the role of the parents is to keep you on road. So you grow up, you become your own parent and your own son. And that's why I say it's about respect and not only love, because love, I don't know, we don't really love in a good way always, and it's something really twisted, but we know respect, we know what it is. Another con of focusing on your beauty is that if you work as a model, you'll always be judged by your image, by your look, because you're working with your image. I don't think that's bad, because people are paying you money because of the way you look, the way you act on camera. Of course that your personality plays a role in this, but mostly it's because of the way you look, because they are going to take a photo, take a video, it's about your image. You're not going to be speaking. They'll talk about your body. There's a lot of people that are mean in this industry, and that's no news for anyone. Lots of egos, like I was saying before, people that are frustrated with their life and they go for you and attack you and tell you you are not enough. In some ways, like the image of you represents who you are as a person, but the problem here is that you can make your looks to be all in your life, and that's your responsibility. That's your fault. And if you are a model, or you want to be, or you want to build your confidence, I'll say that has nothing to do with your beauty. Confidence is built by the way you live, the way you treat yourself, how you push yourself to be better, because you trust in someone that treats you right and that wants the good things for you. Like, think it, if a friend keeps a secret, if a friend is always telling you that you can do more, that you have the potential, you have to keep pushing, and it's helping you to do so and want you to be healthy and all that, you trust in them. And for gaining confidence, which is trusting in yourself, you have to do all these things that a friend will do for you, because you're a human being too, and that's how we work. The confidence isn't built by beauty, and you will be surprised by the amount of incredible pretty girls and boys that I know all these years of working as a model that can look at themselves at the mirror peacefully. You have to work for that from within, and one thing that I think it's really important is to find out your interests, see what you like, see what you want to learn. Always keep yourself in any kind of challenge that doesn't really have to do with your work, so you can put your mind in another mood for a while, and that's what makes the brain have more connections, and that's better for your health in general and for developing a personality. This thing about pretty people for the society standards that don't have a personality, it's true. Like, it's not the case for everyone, again, but this happens, and that's why the stereotype exists. You have to work to have a personality, you have to put your brain on it, you have to investigate yourself, and that's so much fun and makes you feel so much better, and it pushes you to do better for yourself, so you can keep growing in all your goals in general, and not just one thing that doesn't depend completely from yourself, like modeling is. I always recommend to do like an essay of yourself, of what you like now, what you remember you like it as a kid, what was your favorite activity, your favorite movies. And if you don't really know what your favorite things are, start investigating, explore the internet, because we have it and we can use it for a purpose, and not just watching what the algorithm brings to us, because that makes people with the same TikTok personality. Like, you can simply receive what the media brings to you. You have to make a research that's more personal and that gets you somewhere new, because if you just stay where you are and see what you always see, you won't grow in any way, you won't develop any confidence, and you will still feel weird, and that's not the way of living in this floating rock. I always talk about the floating rock that we are living in this strange universe that we don't know anything about practically, and we convince ourselves about the imaginary things that we invented in society, and then we feel bad about those things that we as humans invented, and we can simply don't care. Sometimes people ask me when I put a Q&A or something in Instagram about modeling, how I deal with rejection as a model. This profession, it's like always having job interviews every day when you have castings. Here in Argentina, you don't really do that big amount of castings as some models do in other countries. When I was in Mexico, I really did a lot of castings every day, like 5 to 10 maybe, and they are always saying no, because you can't get all castings booked. I mean, that's the dream, but that's not really what happens, because they are looking for different things in each one. And I think the answer for that is that I don't care that much. And it's not that I didn't care about modeling or getting a job or something like that. It's just that it's not the only thing in the world for me, and that's good for the mental health. I think that nothing should be the only thing that matters to you. Maybe there's a primary one. This is my top thing that I want, this is like my goal in life, and it's beautiful to have that, to have a passion. Maybe I'm more like a girl with lots of interests, but if you have one big passion, that's awesome, that's good, and that's a big motivation that can help you to be disciplined about. But I think it's always better to have more things, to have a hobby in your life, to have something else to put your head in, and that's how creativity appears, when you have lots of things going on that you can later connect. Another thing that keeps me away from suffering the rejection is knowing that people sometimes are mean because they are miserable and you shouldn't put anyone in a top. I don't know how you say this in English. Like, you shouldn't put anyone on top of everyone. Like, oh, I have to be liked by this person because this person is top. It's everything in the world, in this profession or whatever. It's another human being. Maybe it will be positive for your career to be liked by them, but it's another human being, and we are all the same at the end of the day. So keeping the people as people, it's a good thing for your mental health also. And there's other tricks that you can do to help your body and mind to work better and suffer less, like sleeping at night, having all the food that you need, stepping outside, leaving the phone, reading a book, and also having a good posture can help your brain to give you all the hormones that you need to feel confident. That's a good trick that I learned from a TED Talk. I always go back to that video. I will leave the link below because it's top, it's amazing. She basically teaches you how keeping an open posture, keeping your shoulders back and your head up, makes you feel a lot more confident and makes you less anxious. And that's really useful when you're always in an interview, like I was saying. Okay, so all this yapping just for saying get a hobby in your life. You can just be pretty. That won't work for your brain. You won't feel good, and maybe for a couple years you can go with that. I don't really knew anyone, never, that was really okay with that way of living, and take care of yourself like you were your son. Okay, that's the end of it. Let me know if you like it, if you have anything else to add for these topics or any doubt about modeling. I will be glad to answer you, and I see you in the next video. I think I will be doing a blog of modeling and being around here in Buenos Aires, Argentina, mixing some English and some Spanish and everything with subtitles for both parts. So bye, see you next one.